Morning, everyone. How are we doing? We good? Yeah. Happy to be here? Yeah. Great. Well, we're happy to have you all. My briefing notes for this said, this is the first time that Beyond Conference has been outside a capital. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to correct the organisers here. This is the UK's creative capital, without a shadow of a doubt. So you are in a capital, and we're pleased to have you. But if nothing else, party central, of course, and you'll have a good time while you're here. We did actually lose that crown in the middle of the pandemic to 10 Downing Street, but we feel we've won it back now, and you've got the permission of the mayor to fully go for it while you're here and enjoy everything that we've got to offer, because there's a lot, and we are still opening big cultural places. Co-op Live, it is open for those who doubt that, but no, and it is actually an outstanding location. Major purpose-built music venue, biggest in the UK, has taken up our offer to another level. Aviva Studios opened in the last year as well, which is an amazing facility, the most versatile cultural venue, I would say, in the UK, the most modern. Again, right here in the heart of our city. Last week, the English National Opera confirmed their move to Manchester and the work they're going to begin doing as of next year. So our cultural capital has just, our sort of reserves of the bank of our cultural capital have just gone up a lot. We have a family reunion next year, and that's got some people talking. I've ruled out the idea of dynamic pricing on our B network public transport system. I think that's one bit of R&D and innovation in the creative sector. I definitely am not going to be importing. We're just a creative city in every respect, and I say that without kind of feeling it's a politician's boast. It's just true. The place loves everything about the creative world. It's always been a creative place, and we see it as core to our economic mission. So our 10 councils, even in difficult times, have continued to fund culture and creativity across Greater Manchester, and they continue to do so. We don't cut it, we invest in it, because we see it as being critically important to life here in Greater Manchester. When we go on overseas trade missions, we have our cultural organisations with us side by side, actually at the centre, at the front of our offer. We had New Order with us at South by Southwest in 2023. We had the Halle Orchestra with us in Osaka, Japan in 2024. And we'll be back in Osaka for the World Expo next year with all of those players because we believe in the power of culture to bring people together. And actually, it just does not get talked about enough, in my view, by Westminster. I speak as a former UK Culture Secretary. In these times, difficult times, dark times, our creative industries are the thing that still, I think, puts the best face of Britain to the world. They show Britain is still a place that is full of ingenuity, warmth, humour, and I think they promote an image of Britain that certainly the politicians aren't promoting at the moment. And that's why, to me, they are so important. We should have been grabbing the hand of the European Union when they offered visa-free access for our musicians to go around Europe. Absolutely. And let me say that again, and I hope this current government now will move that forward. These are our best exports, because actually behind them so many other things come as well, because they're the things that people connect with. They get a positivity about Britain from these things. And certainly here in Greater Manchester, that's how we see it. With the English National Opera, we were talking last week about how they want to bring music into every venue in our city region, into our care homes, into our schools. That is what I mean by a true creative city region, where from top to bottom, it's part of life, and it's everything that the place is about, and that's the place that you're in. That is Greater Manchester. That is very true to our DNA. However, the thing I wanted to say today is some change that I think is needed to make sure we don't take our creative industries for granted, and we continue to put ourselves in a position of strength. I'm thinking particularly with schools, and in recent times I really despair at the way creativity has been kind of pushed out of the curriculum and kind of a message sent to young people who have talents and passions, creative passions, that is somehow a second-class talent or passion. Well, I absolutely don't see it that way whatsoever. And I have kind of sent in last week to this new government, as part of their curriculum review, a plea to put creativity right back at the heart of the curriculum. And we see that as absolutely essential going forward. In a creative city region like this, you've got to send that message from the earliest days of people's school years that creativity matters, it is valued, and it can be the route to a really great career. However, there is one thing I wanted to say, which is a note of challenge. And I think we've got to do more as a creative sector to map out those strong pathways for young people into creative industries, because at the moment they're too unclear, and sometimes they're not viable for young people because of the way the industries still work, can be in quite a fragmented way, or trading on their glamour, making people work in insecure employment or even unpaid, and that's not acceptable either. We've just launched a new tool in our city region. We call it our equal alternative to the university route. It's called the Greater Manchester Baccalaureate. It's a big reform of technical education. And we have a new website called GMAX, which is kind of pointing people towards the routes into our modern economy. And one of our gateways is the cultural and creative sector. But if you look at the end of the sort of pipeline, where you can explore jobs in the city region, in those areas, the jobs are not there in the same number as they are in other sectors. And I also, I'm on record as saying that the kind of placements to support T-levels from organisations are not there in the same way. The apprenticeships are not there in the same way. And the call I would want to make, with many of our own industry before me, but the creative industry across the UK, we know we've got international visitors and we want to learn from the best, is let's build strong pathways for our young people into the creative economy. Clear pathways that support them, particularly those who don't have wealthy parents or a wealthy background to fall on, because that's a risk to the creative industries. If they become the preserve of the privileged, then that doesn't do what Britain has always done, which is bring through talent from all backgrounds and all communities, and gives British culture and creativity that edge. If they do become the preserve of the privileged, then I think Britain's creative industries will be on the wrong path going forward. And I want anyone who agrees with what I'm saying to really work with us to get the MBAC culture and creative pathways really strong, really clear, supported at every level, opportunities at 16, opportunities at 18, and into long-term career options that will support their way through. We're doing it as a city region. You know, we're backing our cultural and creative sector. If you think about R&D, obviously what the conference is about, we've helped invest in the School of Digital Arts at Manchester Metropolitan University, which is really bringing, you know, high-level R&D to the cultural and creative sector. If you think of what's been built here at MediaCity, one of the most exciting locations in the world when it comes to the cultural and creative economy, with everything that's going on nearby in gaming and all of the other cluster industries within the cluster that we've built. You know, we've backed it, but we now need to work with you. We need the schools to make that change and put creativity at the heart of what they do. But we also need industry to meet us halfway as well, with those structured opportunities for our talent so that they can come through. And together, we need to turn back to this government, but also all governments, and say, you know, promote this industry as a major export industry. Do not take it for granted. You have to invest in it. You have to show that it's part of our industrial strategy, as I hope it will be when the government confirms that next year. And absolutely make it easier for people with talent to travel to be successful around Europe and around the world. That's what we're all about here in Greater Manchester. It's the city you're in for this amazing conference. You've got the warmest of welcomes from the Mayor. We're proud that this conference is happening here, but in the times that we're in, difficult times around the world, dark times around the world, what is the thing that can bring people across different divides back together? It is the joy that the creative industries can bring. It's the togetherness that creative industries can bring. It's the ability to learn from all perspectives and all cultures that comes through the talent of the creative industries. We've got to rise to the moment that we're in and not let those seeking to divide us to kind of dominate the pitch. It's time for the best of British, European and other creativity to hold the pitch and bring people back together. That's the Greater Manchester perspective on things. I hope it's yours too. Thank you for listening and have a great time while you're with us. Thank you.